most gym owners have no idea what to focus on, I'm going to give you exactly what you should be focusing on. Okay, so what I want you to do is I have an example. I'm going to be doing a bunch of math. So I'm going to be looking at my paper. There's a lot of math, so bear with me on this. What we need to figure out first is, where do you want to be? So you're in a certain spot right now. You have a certain number of members. If you're a gym owner, maybe you have 50 members, maybe you have 100 members. And in order to decide what you want to focus on, you need to have some type of a goal, okay? And what I'm going to do in this situation, I'm just going to pretend that you have 100 members and you have a goal of getting to 150 members. Okay, that is your goal. So if you're following with me at home, whatever number you're at, you would put that here, and whatever number you want to be, that's where you would put there. But now I'm going to teach you how to reverse engineer it so you know exactly what you need to be focusing on every day in order to hit this number. Because in the beginning, this sounds like a big thing. It's like a big deal. Oh my God, 100 to 150 members, that's a lot. Well, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. So I'm going to teach you how to get to this 150 mark one bite at a time. Okay, the first thing we need to do is we need to get our attrition. Because we're starting the year at 100 members. We're not going to keep every member. We know that just like gravity, like we're going to lose members. And so in this specific example, I'm going to use a 3% attrition rate, because it's just simple math and easy to use. But you should basically know that number, okay? And the way you would get that number, so if you want to actually figure out like what your attrition rate is, you would just take, like, let's say you had 100 members at the beginning of the month, okay, and you lost 6 members. All you would do is you would take 6 and you would divide it by 100, and that would give you a 6% attrition rate. That's how you basically get your attrition rate, okay? So let's just say in this specific situation, I have a 3% attrition rate, okay? What that means is 100, it's basically you take 100 and you would multiply that by 0.03, and that would equal 3, okay? Members a month. We're gonna multiply that by 12, and that gives us 36. So technically what we're going to do is we're going to take off of this 100 members, we're going to take 36 off. Okay, so it's 100 minus 36 equals 64. So 64 is essentially our starting point, because now I'm just taking away what the loss is. Okay, so now we need to go from 64 all the way to 150. Okay, so in order to do that, and that's why I have my notes here to tell me what these numbers are, right? So if I take 150 and I multiply by 64, that is 86. So in order for us, based on our churn, in order for us to go from 100 members to 150 members, we need to add 86 new clients over the course of 12 months. Okay, still with me? Good. All right, now what we need to do is we would take 86 and we would divide that by 12, okay? Because what we're trying to do is, remember I told you, what are we focusing on? We got to kind of move this down into bite-sized chunks. Okay, so I would take this 86 number and I'm going to divide it by 12. Okay, and that gets me 7. Okay, so my goal, I'm going to put that 7 down here. So my goal is, in order to get 86 new members, I need to get 7 new members every month. Okay, simple, right? You just take 7, you multiply it by 12 each month. That gets us 86. That's going to get us to 150. Okay? Now, clients just don't fall out of the sky. What usually needs to happen is there's things that we need to do to be able to get the new client. And so typically, gyms are doing some type of a consultation, gyms are doing some type of a free trial. In this case, let's just say that we're closing at an 80% rate. Okay? We're closing at an 80% rate. And that would mean that 80% of the 8 out of 10 people that come in for a consultation will sign up for a new member. Okay? And what we would do is we take 7, okay, and we would divide that by 0.80. So this is our little math problem. 7 divided by 0.80, and that gives us 8.75, but in this case I'm going to use 9. Okay? So what it means is I need to have if I'm closing at an 80% rate, I need to get 9 consultations in order to get 7 new members. Okay? Now, consultations just don't fall from the sky either. What do? We need to get leads to be able to get those consultations. And so we need to kind of take the similar formula. Let's say we're closing at a 20% rate, or we'll use 30%, right? Because it's a little bit better. All right? We would take this 30%, 0.30, and we would divide that by, we would take 9 and we divide that by 0.30. Okay, and that number is, what is that number? That would be around 27. Okay, so in this situation, I need 27 leads, 9 consultations, and then 7 new members. And I need to do that every month. And if I did that for 12 months straight, I would go from 100 members to 150 members. And so now let's go back to the focus thing. You don't necessarily need to worry about focusing on the big 150 and the big number of 150. All you need to focus on is 27 leads a month, getting 9 people to sit down for a consultation with you, getting 7 of those people to become new members. And if you do that every month, you're going to get to where you want to be. Well, we can even break that down even further, and we can take this 27, right? And then let's say we divide that by 4 weeks out of the month, roughly. We have 10 leads, 4 consults, and then 2 new members, right? Gets us a little bit more than 7 in that situation. But now, what do we need to focus on here? Now, on a weekly basis, 10 leads, 4 consultations, and 2 new members. And at the end of the day, what is your focus? If you get a lead a day, a little more than a lead a day, and you're converting at the close rate you need to convert at, you're going to get to your goal. And so that's how you got to look at, what do I focus on? Don't focus on all this stuff. Focus on just this right here. And then focus on this right here and focus on this right here. And if one of these numbers is off for the week, that's what you focus on. That's what you do. That's your to-do list. There's so many other things flying around, so many things, but your business is not going to grow unless we're hitting these numbers. And you can't sit around and think about all of a sudden at the end of the month, like how many members you got. No, you got to look at this on a weekly basis. It's just like a sports team. After the first quarter of the game, the coach is going to sit down with everybody and be like, we're getting our asses kicked out there. This is what we need to do differently to go out there in the second quarter and do better. If the coach goes and looks at the final score and he's looking at the film after the game, and he's like, oh man, I wish we did this, I wish we did that, it's too late. And so you got to look at these numbers and look at these data points and be able to focus on them on a weekly and even a daily basis in some certain situations, right? And that is what you focus on. So you focus on the leads, you focus on the number of consultations you have, you focus on the new memberships, and that is what's going to get you from 100 to 150 members. So what do you want to do? Following at home, plug your own numbers in. Whatever you're at right now, plug that number here. Wherever you want to be, plug that number here, and then run it through the formula that I put through on this video. So a lot of math, right? But one of the things I did for you, because I like you, I created a calculator that plugs all these formulas in and plugs your numbers in. And all you got to do is pump your numbers in and you'll be able to know what to focus on. It's just like every week you sit down, this is what I need to do. And there's power in that. There's a lot of power in that. So go ahead and click the link below, download the calculator. It's totally free. My friend Owner made it for me. So go ahead and check that out. Get the calculator and plug in your numbers, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.